There we have kind of a makeshift basin. Now, to kind of match as far as like size-wise, I'm checking what the hammer size is 0.23, and then the cup size is 0.4. Just to see if I can match them okay here. Looks like I am going to have to do. So 0.23 for the hammer, and what we'll do is first we'll position it. That bad boy up. And let's see. I think I had it with the pointed in, oriented down. Double check here. Oh, pointed in up, so we want to make sure to do the same back here. Or try at least. Okay, and then it was at size 0.23. I'm just going to place that so that if I mess it up here, we can easily fix it. Again, I'm just trying to get it positioned so that it looks like it's built into the rim, the edge of the sink. Okay, there's that. And then the chewa cups, they were upside down, I think, that the metal part shows. And they were at 0.4. Pretty small. Especially for ones that are already kind of tiny. Just trying to check where that thing is. Again, there's not much space here, and it's probably going to stick through where I don't want it, but I'm going to try and squeeze it in there. Maybe it'd be better if I had it in the wall. I don't think I'm going to be able to hide that too well. I'll do it like this. And then we'll have to check and make sure that it's not hooking through the wall itself. So, cut out a bit. Here we go. And then copy. something like that. And then of course you need the drain in the bottom. Another red moon vent. Comes in super huge. And again, I'm going to check the size of the red moon vents that are already here. They're at 0.03, which is super small. So we'll drag this one over. It was a little laggy again. Oh, 0.03. Look at that little dinky thing. And then we'll just push it down. It's just showing. There's probably easier ways to make sure it's kind of in the center. But I'm just kind of getting it where it needs to be. There we go, something like that. Not like perfect. But it's pretty close. Okay, so there we have a sink. Now, typically in here, you would have also a mirror of some sort, maybe some cabinets for storing, like, I don't know, creams or toothpaste or whatever. And it could even have a countertop here of some sort, but I'm just keeping it kind of basic. So a really quick and easy thing to use for a mirror is to use a window. If you use the standard ones, they still have the stripe in the middle, so that doesn't necessarily work like you're really wanting. But if you use the large ones, whether it be, well, you'll see the difference between the large barred window and the one with the flower box. There's a little bit of shape difference, and one looks a little shinier than the other. But also you can see the difference in cost. One costs 50 silver as opposed to 10. So it really depends on, you know, what you're willing to spend. I'm going to go for cheap, so I'll just slap that in there. Plus, with the window box, more than likely that would have been sticking out the other side of the wall, which again would pose an issue. So if it's just a matter of one shinier than the other, to me that's not worth fussing over that window box. So I'm just going to rotate it around. And then square it up. And then I'm going to be carefully paying attention about how deep I can push it in. Because again, I'm working with thin walls, so I'm gonna have to go outside and have a peek, and as I suspect, straight through. What I have to do is push it in. So while it doesn't really look horrible that there's a window there, I don't want a window there. It doesn't make sense to have a window showing on the outside when there really isn't one there on the inside. At least for this custom build. For other homes, if they want, simulated features like that, that's something different. Now I'll probably size this down. Seems a little too big. And of course I have to push it down because I want it to be kind of Oran height. It's a little higher than maybe I would like it. But mostly it's because I don't want to cover up the handles or the faucet here. There's a little basin and mirror. Maybe it's not just a mirror, maybe it's a medicine cabinet behind there. Who knows? Okay, so that's kind of a base kind of thing. Now for the toilet, again, we'll probably use some similar setup as far as the toilet basin goes. Just make it smaller, probably like shorter. And then I have to, of course, probably actually make it smaller too, because I think if she was to try and sit on this, it would just fall right in. But I also have to consider how we're going to fashion the lid. I'm going to throw another lamp up here. Let's see. This over here. I'm going to push it up so that lights up things. Same way with this one. Leaving it big so it's nice and bright. In fact, I may do that with all of them rather than leaving them as hanging. Just like a little, like keep them up to the nub right here, like a fixture. That's one idea, to be able to keep it big. The problem is the possibility of having this stick out like that, which you don't want. But for temporary purposes, just to make the building in here easier in the dark, I'm going to leave the lighting huge. Okay, so probably need some Oran domes. I'm gonna make sure I didn't. 1, 2 of those, and probably a tube of the Oran, not tube, tube. And maybe an arch as well. Again, that's not exactly super cheap for like a really beginner builder, but it's doable. Do quests and stuff, you should be able to salvage up or sell off some junk equal up to a couple of gold. Okay, so we're going to start with the domes. And we're just going to pop them out here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the inner one. I'm we're going to push it over here, and then I'm going to size it down even further. Something a little bit more orange size compatible with the toilet. And again, I'm picking height about where she would be sitting. Does that feel like a comfortable height? About like there. Seems appropriate. I'm going to leave this out a ways because for the toilet, it's going to be more like, oh well, I made it a solid dome, didn't I? I need the hollow ones. Silly me. Let's grab a couple. We'll set these back in. Technically, I could leave it solid and pretend like that's the lid to it, but I think I'm going to try and get a slightly more creative on that. We'll see. But that is one option. That avoids the issue of having to figure out how to put water in. Okay, so that's the toilet basin there. And I'm just kind of giving it a little thickness there. Tube. See if I can kind of copy it. And it worked. Something like so. What else? This is where having a flat disc of like circle orange floor would be awesome to be able to represent that. For us, we're going to try maybe I should just go with full dome, the solid one. See what we can do here. Try and make it look like a covered toilet. Something like that. That kind of works, maybe. And then we need some kind of the back part where the flusher and everything is. I think that would probably be best represented with the arch. So we'll flip that in here. And then size it down. Get in. down some more. About the right width there. Maybe we'd better just use the floor. Try that. Just a regular orange floor. This one goes front and back. Still feels a little laggy, skipping as it goes. Oops, need to move that. And look at there, it went wonky. Try that again. 0, 0. Is it not? I forgot to look at what that was, but I don't think that really matters. Popping it in like so. And mostly it's just how high do I want the back of it. So probably what I need to do is make the back part of it even with the size of the tube part here. It'll make more sense as I work this out, maybe. Let's see, what size is that? 0.08. I don't think I need to go that small with these. Again, I'm sure this doesn't make quite any sense at the moment, but just stick with me here. I think it will come. Maybe. I don't know what I did just then. Okay. Man, this is so touchy. Back up to Buildy's waking up finally. I think think what we'll do is we'll just put a back here. I thought about building something up from the bottom, but I don't think that's going to work like I'm wanting. And since we don't have rectangular pieces for the floors yet, I'm having to kind of wing it how I want to shape this. Let's see, floor. Wow, is it already after 9? Where it feels like we don't get much progress in here before my time's already kind of gone by, but like I've told many people, housing is more of a marathon than it is a sprint. You're looking for a quick build, you know, there isn't such a thing. I've seen a few people ask for something like that. You know, we have the fab kits that, you know, it's basically little bits for your house, specifically the exterior, where you just pop it in and it's already comes completely furnished. It has a function most of the time, and you don't have to think anything else about it. We have pre-built homes, but you still have to consider what kind of decorations you're going to put in it. And I've seen at least one be very vocal about how they would like to have a similar setup that WoW has with the garrisons, where everything is pre-built, pre-decorated. To me, I gotta wonder about like what's the sense in having that kind of system, because part of the reason that the housing is the way it is because you do have to kind of take into consideration what kind of decorations you're going to have, which affects the kind of buffs you're going to have. If everything's pre-built, then that kind of goes out the window. There's no purpose to that anymore. So it leaves me to wonder, you know, how that would work if we did have some kind of pre-built, pre-decorated homes. Would you make it so those particular homes didn't have buffs because of their pre-built status or whatever? I don't know. Probably wondering why I'm putting a third there, but I don't like the center line being off, so I want it to match the front lines so that it looks all the same. Again, I'm gonna have to go and check. I'm pretty sure that's probably still, yeah. So we're gonna have to redo the sizes of that, and that means more tiles that we have to use. Looked pretty cool though, didn't it? So we'll leave that up for measurement's sake, and then what I'll do is I'll copy, paste, and then we'll just adjust the size of these. Probably have to go considerably small, just so that it doesn't show. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this up so it's a good distance from the others. I'm going to see if that's sticking out still. And if it isn't, then I'll add it. And it's not, so wow, it really is laggy. But you know what's funny is WoW just had a new patch release for some content, some new content, and while the experience there isn't laggy, I get disconnected like every few minutes. So I was playing it a little bit yesterday morning. Checking out the new zone and everything, and it was pretty frustrating because it was like every time you turn around, disconnect, disconnect, disconnect. So, okay, I'm going to place that. Copy, paste. Copy. I'm just getting the sizes right. I'll change the positions here in a moment. I'm going to use up the tiles. So instead of 3 pieces, it looks like 4. And the way I'll do this one is I've got the 2 ends kind of where I want them. Maybe this one goes a little bit. And then we'll bring these up. And what I'll do is I'll try and match, I can get the thing to land where I want it. Match that outer line again. I don't think it's going to work quite what I'm expecting because that center line will be off because of the 2 overlapping. Whoops. Moving the wrong. So it might be better just to have these down and do it like this. It's not quite the same as design as I had before, but still workable, I guess. Okay, and then I need to have the tiles down here. Now I'm probably not going to worry about below because I don't think anyone's going to be able to get their camera to show that part of it. I think might be able to get away with maybe 3 on each side. Put all 4 that we have out. I consider myself very fortunate if I can get away with 2 on every side, but I think that's wishful thinking there. Okay, turn this. So zoom in a bit so we can see what we're doing. A really tight squeeze to try and picture what the heck is going on. Okay, I think that's about right. Again, there's probably easier ways to do that, maybe not have these walls in here straight away. I've alleviated some of this tight corners here, but And would you look at that? I think we're going to get away with just using 2. Awesome. Okay, so copy, paste, and just put that over here. And do the same for the bottom one. And if you see some weird flickering shadows, that's, again, that's my game settings, not the game itself. It's my graphics that are wigging out. I'm not sure exactly. I have most of my settings kind of on low, so that plays into it partly. Okay, so that's kind of the basis for the toilet. I still need like some kind of a flusher handle thingy mabob. Maybe it's these 2 pieces here that you push on one or the other. I don't know. We'll leave it like so for now. Okay, so that's the tub, toilet, the sink. Over here is going to be the shower. And what I will probably do is we'll go ahead and yeah, I think it's the calcium floor that I'm going to want. I want to give the whole area like waterproof tiles. Here in the tub, you kind of expect that someone, you know, is responsible. They wouldn't splash all over the place. So I don't mind leaving the walls here, wood, but for the shower itself, to me, it feels like it needs to be better suited to waterproofing, I guess is the best way to say it. And so we're going to put some tiles in. So I need to first figure out the size of the tiles that I want. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy, paste. And I'm going to see if we can just get away with doubling up the walls. Like so. And have it still accessible as far as being able to walk inside it. Because remember, as you're narrowing down the space that you're walking, it can affect the collision. You know, you might not be able to get in where you think you can get in. So again, we need to push this to the inside and make sure that it's still enterable, and it seems to be. Granted, I know the tiles aren't the same size, but I'm not going to fuss too much about that. It's just, it would be great if there was some kind of way that we could just stretch a texture across a certain size of an object and have it stay uniform in size, but since we don't have that, we make do. Moving the little control. Again, just to kind of give it a better shower feel. So it looks like we need 1, 2, 3 more pieces of the Cassian floor. And we'll go on the outside and just double check that nothing looks amiss. Follow through. There we go. Oh, I can get my camera to sit at a good angle there. And then again for here. In this particular case, the offset is kind of handy. But I think it's far outweighed by the nuisance it poses whenever you're wanting it to be a lot more accurately. Okay, so that looks more suitable for a shower kind of room. What I will probably do is I could even add some tiles here at the roofing part, just to kind of seal that in. But I may not. But this would be where the shower head is, and then probably I may actually build up this part here so that it's kind of like an inset, so that it's not like the water runs straight out into the room here. That's another consideration. I'll have a look at what I could use. Just running things through my head as far as what I could use for that. Probably, let's see. My Cassian pillar is kind of metally. I could just box off this end here. Kind of give it a lip of sorts. Could even include some kind of a where's that thing? Rate it. Yes, I did. Some kind of glass door that slides to and fro. But I think it's important to separate the flooring off from the rest of the flooring. Otherwise, it appears like I said, when you shower, then the water's just running out into the other area, and you don't want that. Really getting more and more laggy. And I'm just kind of guessing about where I would want it to be. And again, you know, just a way of separating the two areas off. I could extend it up an extra pillar to make it a little higher, a little bit more dominant, but I don't think that's necessary. And then put one of those red moon vents. For the drain down here. Probably not that big. Necessary. Something like so. And then have the shower head from up here. And probably, I don't know, maybe the little racks for the shampoos and stuff there, and probably a towel rack here for when you come out of it, you can just reach around and get the towel. Here is going to be the washer. I could do a double stack and do like a washer and then dryer, but maybe they dry their clothes out in the wind, so we're just going to do the washer, I think. Let's see. And what I was thinking of is I was either going to use the arches or the dome or a combination of them to fashion an actual hollowed up and functioning washer. I'll try and quickly give you an idea what I'm talking about here. Maybe. Oh, I didn't use the hollow one. Wait a minute. Hollow. There we go. So like using this as the drum of the washer. And again, I'm checking like height, like you know, maybe they wait till there's many weeks of clothes, but I think that's a little too. I'll drop it down to 5. That seems more reasonable. And then like using the arches. Oh, that's just so messy. Take that down better. All kind of rigged out on how it's placed. Good grief. Okay, let's see if we can straighten this up. 0, 90. Anyway, somehow getting this kind of match up a little better. And get the size. Oops. something like so, and then getting the other one to cover up the bottom part and get it to turn right. Granted, there's going to be some bits that are kind of misaligned, but maybe that's like the legs of the contraption, and then if I add in an extra bit here, that would be where the controls are, that kind of thing. And then just box it in, give it a top and some sides, and that be the washer. And then I could actually maybe toss in some things that looks like clothes or whatever. So then we need also, do I have some glass already? Yeah, we'll just use this one. Now, later, if I decide to put some clothes in it, of course I'm going to push the glass aside so that I can more easily work with it, because anything behind the glass you can't directly click on, like with the oven moving around things after you place them. That's kind of awkward to do. So, you know, get your glass in position and then move it out of the way when you want to work with putting stuff behind it. Would be my advice anyway. But then you can, you know, simulate the covered kind of deal where it's got glass on it, and then you can add a handle to it as well. But like, say you want to put in something, I don't know. What would look better? Probably this one. And of course, you know, it's flat, it's straight, and all of that, but since you have these pieces here kind of covering up what might stick out beyond, hey cryo, then you don't have to worry about too much about it being kind of awkward with it sticking out, because, you know, the cover itself is going to hide it. If I can get this turned like I want. Oops, wrong arrow. So like have some, you know, a different variety of fabrics and cloths. You know, could use pillows to kind of simulate that there's stuff in there. Any number of objects would probably work, because, you know, it's just a garbled pile of laundry that I'm putting in there. So if you have any pillows, like you have the green one here. And we got a pink one. So just as an example, this may get changed up quite a bit. I'm just kind of roughly slapping this in. Let's see. Like so. And again, we've got to be careful about what's showing and where. Give me my little control bar here. And then again, just kind of throwing another piece in just to give it some variety. And you can pile it in as much as you want. Make it look more full and piled in with clothes and stuff, but that's just an example of what I'm talking about. For the handle, again, you want something that, since it would be putting it on glass, you want it something that's not going to have a lot that you have to try and hide. So probably the Pell bench is another good choice for this particular case, because again, pretty straightforward. There's no extra bits you have to hide. You just have to get it the right size and go from there. So we're gonna rotate it up so that it's the angle it needs to be, and then we'll size it down and square it up. And again, this is going to be going directly on the glass, so you don't want it to be oops, and then 0.05. I don't want it to be too big where it takes up a lot of the base of the glass, because I do want it to be the clothes to be visible. One thing tough about these is it's hard to tell when the piece is touching the glass and not touching the glass. It's really hard to see. You can barely notice that there's a little bit of overlap there. Okay, something like that. Probably not exact, but good enough for me. Maybe I'd rather have that on the other side. Kind of like for the fridge, open it for this way. And then, like I said, you would want to add in your back part and such. So we'll more floors, I guess. Now, if you notice, we're sitting at about just almost 550 items so far. So we're over the halfway mark. And we still have a lot of detail to throw in. The main thing I'm working on right now is getting a lot of the big custom built pieces of furniture that I want out of the way to see where that leaves me, as far as being able to include other details like pictures and books and things like that. Because it's these little custom built things like the tub and the toilet and the countertops and stuff that eats up your decor count pretty fast. So once you get those out of the way, then you can kind of comfortably breathe, and especially if you end up with like a couple hundred left, that can take care of, pictures on the wall, books, drinks, towels that you might want to add, bottles, candles, anything like that. Because there's still even though I've kind of gotten most of the bathroom main fixtures done, and the kitchen's main parts are pretty much done. I still have the bedroom to deal with and the porch. Because the porch I'm planning on, I'm either going to put a porch swing or just a simple couch kind of thing, like almost like a sectional there, or just one big couch that people can sit on. For the bedroom, I'm keeping it fairly simple. I think it's mostly just going to be the bed and maybe some matching nightstands on either side. But it's going to be pretty open. There may be maybe I do a fancy type of flooring to kind of give it a semblance of a homemade kind of patchwork carpet kind of thing. I don't know, tapestry on the floor. But I'm not going to go too elaborate with furniture. A lot of it will be just things that's for the closet and shelves, just little decorations. Okay, so back to this. I'm just going to copy these panels here. I'm probably not going to have them that small for the washer, but just to kind of quickly get the orientation sorted. Ugh, the lag is really quirky. Yeah, that's definitely going to need to be right at 42. See how good that is. And since it is the washer, and you have the drum to account for, and any kind of gadgetry in the back, the size of this is probably going to be pretty deep. It may actually butt up against the back wall there. So again, I'm going to have to match it to the top line of this. If I can get it to the camera to work okay. And I realize there's a gap there, but I'll be filling that in later. Another piece, and that's probably where all of the buttons will be. Maybe I'll put like one of those ergonomic keyboards there, give it some extra buttons, and then maybe one big button here, that kind of thing. This actually looks more like a dryer than a washer, doesn't it? So maybe I'll do the double stack like I talked about. Or move this up, have the dryer up above and the washer down below. We'll see how I do it. I definitely wanted something like this though. So. Let's see, copy. I'm going to size those up a little bit so I can get away with just using 2 for the top. Something like that. Going down just a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks more like a dryer. I'm just thinking, for us, the dryer here at home, in real life, both the dryer and the washer are open from the front. I know there's some washers that load from the top, but ours is from the front. So I think I'm gonna call it a washer and be done with it. If people don't like my washer, they can build their own junk. Because I think I don't want to double it up here. What I'm thinking is I would probably have, if I can get this bit right. Shelving up here for like maybe the detergent and things like that. Could try and see if I can fashion an ironing board that's maybe here that technically, I don't know if you've seen those ones where they kind of like sit up against the wall and then you just kind of fold it out and then you can use it, that kind of thing. Maybe something like that. Again, this is kind of a tight squeeze. Some might actually just go ahead and move the walls away so they can get a little better grip on it. Now, if you didn't notice, that's kind of peeking out there. There's a pretty big lip here. I'm gonna have to adjust. No. Don't want the lip. At least not that big. There, that's. Then we need to fix one. Okay, and then two more orange floors for the other side. Come on. This doesn't want to go there, does it? There we go. I'm sure it's something to do with the lag that's going on. I don't know what's causing it. So I don't know how to fix it. I don't know if just relogging would do it. I take it as a sign that I probably will be closing up here soon. Okay, there's that. Now the keyboards that I was talking about for using for the buttons up here, those I believe are purchased in Far Side, so I'll make a note to get a hold of at least one or two of those. The main issue with those is you do have to have the rep for the faction there. You know, as with any other faction vendor, faction rep vendor, you have to have specific amount of rep. When I go to purchase it, I'll double check about which it is, because I'm pretty sure it's not beloved. I don't think you have to be that high for the keyboard in particular. But again, while it does take a little bit more effort, especially if you're a new player, and that zone I think is pretty high up, I think it's 40 something, then a newer player that doesn't have a high level alt or something wouldn't have access to that straight away. But you know, like I said, gaming, the housing is more long-term commitment than a short-term thing. So you know, while say for instance, I had this built and I wasn't quite at the level I need to be, or I didn't have the rep, I would leave it and just give that as a goal for myself. Say, okay, I know I want that piece, so I've got things built and it's ready for it. I just haven't earned the rep or the level that I need for it. But it's still accessible. For me, anything from vendors, be it for rep or renown or anything like that, that's still accessible to new players eventually. Granted, I know most of it, or I should say a lot of it, won't be accessible straight away, but you know, those are long-term goals you can aim for. Like if there's specific plushies you want, you know, I think it's the Farside vendor that also sells like the WildStar plushie. If you want WildStar plushies, then you're going to have to, you know, work towards that. Same way if in the lower zones, I think it's Whiteville that has the carrot plushie. There at Ternup Hole. Then, you know, if you haven't reached that point yet, obviously you don't have access to it, but eventually you can. And same way with challenges and things like that. It's the world drops and ones that are strictly from raiding and dungeons that I kind of avoid using in a lot of my builds, because not everybody has access to that, and not everybody can find the good deals on the AH. A lot of mine is just luck. I have like a list of things that I would like to get a hold of, and I just every day I check the AH, you know, looking for cheapy ones. Eventually you find them. Yeah, it doesn't, I mean, it takes some effort, cryo, with the rep gains, but it's not like an horrendous thing. I mean, because generally people that are going to be playing in the game are going to be leveling up and questing anyway, so that kind of comes with it. It's the ones that you have to reach the beloved for, the highest level of the rep, that can be a bit more of a challenge, because a lot of those do require you revisiting the area and doing a lot of the dailies in that particular zone. But for the lower end, and I'm pretty sure the keyboard one is towards the lower end. I don't know if it's like the first level, but I think it's like the second level maybe of rep gain, and that's fairly easy to obtain. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with the plan of getting the ergonomic keyboard for the top of that. And then I'll probably use some other kind of button or cup or knob or something for like two big controls here. So that's the washer. I think that's where we're going to stop today. The lag is just kind of annoying me. I don't know if it's, I know people's talked about memory leaks and issues like that. Let's see, right now I'm running about 29 ms and 11 fps. That's not too bad, but what's bad is the stuttering. You know, there's not a smooth, and it was pretty smooth when I started. So I don't know if it's just the longer I play, the worse it gets or what, but it's kind of annoying. And I've already been on here for quite a while as it is. I think it's over 2 hours now. So I think I'm going to wrap it up for today. We did get it quite a bit done. The bathroom's pretty set and decked out now for some of its basics. There's a lot of, you know, added little decorations that are still going to be included, but I wanted to get the main appliances and features in, because again, that's going to affect how much detail I include based on how much of this custom built stuff that I squeeze in. And as I said before, that's my main goal, is to do as much custom building as I can, right down to the chairs and stuff. Even though I've used a Marauder chair in the kitchen, I'm probably still going to see about creating my own, just to kind of, I guess, prove to myself that I can do it. Okay, so that's it for today. I will be back again tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be on tomorrow as early as I was this morning. So no guarantees on that. Again, if you enjoy the show and you haven't followed me yet, but you would like to try and catch me when I go live, following is probably the best way to catch me, because that will notify you when I do go live. My hours through the week is just touch and go. Sometimes it's in the morning for me, sometimes it's midday, sometimes it's later. I don't hardly ever do any kind of evening broadcasts yet, because I share the home with other people and I don't want to banish them to the downstairs just so that I can have it nice and quiet where I'm doing this. Same way with on the weekends. Evening and weekends is family time, so I kind of clear my schedule of streaming and stuff. But through the week, I'm usually here by myself. So I do stream every weekday, but Wednesday is the only solidly scheduled day. Wednesday is 1 p.m. CET time, and that's when I do the housing tours and other kind of things other than building. Sometimes we do come back to the building at the end, but not always. So if you do decide to follow, I appreciate it. That is an indicator to me that I'm doing something right, that I'm giving people something different that they can't get elsewhere, and that they at least aim to kind of be kept up to date on as far as what projects I'm working on and all that. While currently I'm working on this project, I've got other things, in the plans, in the works. My main plot is currently being left as is. I kind of leave, when I do a full plot kind of thing, I leave it for a month or two just to give people opportunity to check it out. And then I start, going through the process. As soon as I get into the mood of start to think about new ideas, I'll probably mention it here, and even maybe take some suggestions from my viewers as to what I should tackle next. Typically, when I try to think up new things, I try to go for things that I don't really see other people do. Granted, other people have done custom-built homes, but I think this is the first time I've really tried to tackle it for myself, so it's new for me. But as far as I've seen plenty of bars, I've seen plenty of dance clubs, plenty of spaceships and laboratories, so I don't really want to go into those kind of themes. But if people have ideas of what else they would like to see, that might be interesting to kind of play off of that. No guarantee I would use what is suggested, but I'm certainly open to them. But I'll be back here tomorrow. Anyone's guess as to when, and we'll do some more work in the bathroom and probably get started on some of the bedroom furniture, like the bed, possibly nightstands, and start figuring out how we're going to work with the closet space and the shelves, what's going to go where, and if it's really necessary that I have a closet. If I decide the closets are kind of, not really purposeful, especially since we don't have a lot of clothes to hang on them, or in them, I should say, then I may change that up. But we'll figure that out tomorrow. And I'm still debating on whether or not I want to change up the door. Kind of leaving that in the air for now. In the meantime, I hope you guys have a great day. And, if you have any questions, suggestions, or general comments about the stream, or any of the things that I work on, or any of the homes that I visited, please feel free to message me either on Twitch, via YouTube, in-game. However, I also do a lot of stuff in the official forum, so there's many avenues to get in contact with me. Feel free to do so. So until tomorrow, good day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.